What's up, everybody? Sujin Patel here. I'm sitting here with Eric Su, awesome marketer. He's the CEO of Single Grain. He's done a lot of amazing things, and he's going to talk about what he's planning on doing. What's his growth strategy for 2019?
Yeah, so this comes at a really good time because we're shooting this right before 2019 hits, and this is this period where we kind of we give the office shut down for the week, and then it's a really good time for me to kind of reflect. And then so I'm thinking about 2018, and I literally made a list of all the things that went great, right? And I recommend you do this for yourselves, personally and professionally. 41 things went great. 15 things not so great, okay? So it's a good ratio. So we did a couple of things, right? So from a marketing perspective, we do podcasts. I have two podcasts. We have the Growth Everywhere podcast or the Marketing School podcast. And we have our blog as well. And then we try conferences. We even tried sponsoring a conference. So we both sponsored a conference. And a lot of speaking as well. So a lot of these things take up a lot of time. And we even tried running a lot of Facebook and YouTube ads as well. And maybe you even see one of these like targeting this channel too, like who knows. So those are just a couple things. What do you think of those 6 actually panned out?
I think your podcast, that's cheating though, because you said in a previous video your
true.
podcast
Yes.
worked. But I would say your podcast worked, Facebook ads or ads worked, and speaking worked.
Yeah, so I'll kind of go in on those. And one thing I forgot to add too, if you think about like what Sujin's done, he's got 7 SaaS companies. You think about Mailshake, for example. And this goes for my podcast partner as well, Neil. We like to do something called product-led growth, which is taking a product and actually leading with that, and that actually leads to a sales conversation. That's actually led to like a couple $100,000 in revenue off a tool that's kind of still in its beta phase right now. So that's another thing that you can do that has worked, and I will continue to do that. I guarantee you Sujin's going to continue to do that too. Neil's going to continue to do that. So talking about podcasts. So what worked with Marketing School was that it's a daily podcast every single day, and it forces accountability with Neil and I. And when you kind of do like a back and forth, sometimes you have to give away your good secrets, because it's like being on a panel. Like sometimes there's always someone that shines. Sometimes you gotta like try to like make sure you're bringing it, right? So it's every single day we're like over 880 episodes by now, and we're just relentless with that, right? That's worked out well. We're about $800,000 a month. What hasn't worked that well was the Growth Everywhere podcast. I've been doing that one for 5 years. We've kind of plateaued at about 50,000 subscribers. 50,000 subscribers, 50,000 listeners a month. But what I will say, that's actually led to our YouTube channel, which I don't think I talked about a second ago, but we've gone from about 2,500 subscribers to about 15,000. And once you hit, I've talked to a lot of influencers, once you go past 10,000, it really starts to scale. And I've gotten comments from people saying like they watch the YouTube stuff. Sujin sometimes watches it. Thank you, Sujin.
I watch it every day on the elliptical.
On the elliptical,
at
great.
2x, but I do watch it every single day.
That's great. So look, so what we are going to do in 2019 is the omnichannel approach, right? Talking about the things that worked. We're going to double down on what's worked, but looking at growth everywhere, it's like it's plateaued. So how do we make sure, what are we going to do to repurpose that? So, doing this reflection thing, it's like looking at what didn't go so great, got to figure out how to fix it and actually take action on it, not just let it sit there. Because if it's going to continue to plateau, I don't want to continue to do it anymore. And I think you talked about speaking. So speaking has worked, but you have to approach people like, if you don't think you're going to get like, a person gave me an example. It's like, if I don't think I'm going to get like $1 million in value from the conference, don't do the conference, right? So some of these conferences I've gone to take a huge amount of time. We're talking 15-hour flights. And sometimes like, they'll cover, accommodations, they'll pay for you as well. They'll cover the flight too. Sometimes it won't be all the way, and sometimes I need to take like some of my points or pay out of pocket or whatever. But that ends up being a huge time suck. But you got to think about how this is part of my growth playbook in 2019. How I'm gonna say no more. It's not about trying all these new marketing tactics all the time, because both Sujin and I were experienced marketers at this point. We're in our 30s. It's not about trying the new shining object all the time. It's about focusing in. So what I would say is our growth playbook in 2019 is also focusing on our big, hairy, audacious goal, which is educating 40 million future marketing and business leaders on creating predictable growth. Because we know if we can do that, everything else is going to fall into place, and we're just going to focus on that. And that means saying no to the wrong clients, saying no to asshole clients, and just focusing on the marketing channels that are working. It's not about doing more, it's about saying no more.
Awesome. So you're going to really refocus on, was it omnichannel, the on the quality of content instead of the quantity, and then saying no to a lot of things. Is there any other? So are you cutting any channels, or are you gonna like just focus mostly on some of the other ones?
Yeah. So some of the channels that like let's look at. We could say we want to do more chatbots right now. We could say we want to create more courses, right? We're saying no to creating more. We already have like 3 offerings out, trainings that tie in with our other stuff.
Yeah.
So we're just focusing in on what we have and refining it for 2019. It's not, oh my God, so-and-so is doing this. Oh, the conversion rates, that's great. We're going to focus in for 2019.
That's super smart, because I think a lot of people focus on the new, and this is a really good point for most new marketers or kind
even
of mid-level, everybody.
Yeah.
Stop creating and start looking back at what you have and repurpose, make it better, right? You know, like I told you in my video that the best content, the biggest impact that we had was stuff we did in 2017. A year ago. So that's awesome to hear.
Jeff Bezos has a really good quote, right? And I think this like, I'm going to try to drive this home with the company too. It's like, you know, you look at Amazon stock price today, maybe not today, but like when it's doing well, it's the result of the work that they put in 3 years ago, right? So it's really on the leadership team to think 3 years ahead and to constantly put in the work. And then 3 years later, you start to see kind of the fruits start to manifest.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially if you're investing in organic channels, non-paid. Things take a long time. So 2 years, 3 years is really where they play out. So thank you, Eric, for sharing. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can go to check out Marketing School, or you can check out the Growth Everywhere podcast, or you can just join me on Instagram. It's at Eric, E-R-I-C, O as in orange, S as in sugar, I-U, at Eric Osu. And feel free to message me, and I'll try to help you out.
Yeah, definitely leave a comment below if you have any questions specific for Eric, and check out the Marketing School podcast and video. I watch it and listen to it every single day, and I know both these guys, and I feel like I'm having a conversation right there with them. Sometimes it's awkward because I do laugh or say something and I'm in a public place. But anyways, it's really, really good stuff, so check that out. Thanks, Eric, for joining.